You know, I never thought I would help start a podcast, and on that said podcast, talk about a dancing plague.
Surprise, shorty!
To have to research why a dancing plague could have happened in a town. To where dancing plagues have happened in events that happened in that said area that the dancing plague occurred. And as well as during my research to find out that there was a ghost hysteria incident.
Oh, in the same town?
No.
Oh, I was like, damn!
No. I'm your host, Scoot, along with
Hatter.
and welcome to Investigation. In mid-July 1518, Strasbourg was a free city within the Holy Roman Empire, which is now modern-day France. So, first I kind of want to talk about the state of the city, kind of before I continue.
Okay.
The harsh weather and multiple crop failures in the previous years led to widespread hunger. Start with that. What they called a bad year of 1516 left many people in like a weakened state because people were hungry.
Right.
But we also have disease in the area, like syphilis, smallpox, leprosy, something that was called the English sweat, which caused delirium, fever, and death within hours.
Nice.
Nice. As well as people's faith was also shaken by corruption and failing church institutions, as well as like apocalyptic signs. In combination with like the belief that saints, curses, and divine punishment that people had at that time period also just, carried a great weight in popular culture. It was a normal day for everyone when a woman named Frau Trophia began dancing in the streets without reason. There was no music or anything like that, nor was she stopping.
Okay.
At first, those who were around her watched this bizarre behavior. She just kept dancing until she collapsed from exhaustion, and then after resting, she resumed dancing. Interesting.
Very
bizarre. Weird. Now, within days, dozens more people joined her. They just started dancing and wouldn't stop dancing. People just dancing day and night. They weren't eating. They weren't sleeping. They just danced.
Right.
And couldn't stop. And essentially, that kept going long past the point of injury. And by August, around 400 people were being affected by this.
That's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people.
That's like a flash mob.
Yeah. The equivalent of a flash mob.
Flash mob.
That you can't stop.
Right.
Now, city authorities were alarmed by this increasing number of dancers.
I would say.
Yeah. And leaders were struggling to make sense of what was happening.
Right.
Now, local physicians diagnosed the dancers as suffering with an excess of hot blood. Now, this was using the Galenic theory.
I have to say, I fucking love, basically before the 1900s and even into the 1900s, the shit that they came up with to explain stuff makes me laugh so hard. I know it's just because they just didn't have an understanding of anything.
Yeah.
And I get it. But, sometimes it's so funny to, read back and they're like, it's hot blood. They just have to dance it out and stuff like that. It's like, that's not a thing. But, it's just, they don't know. And so they're like, I gotta come up with something.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go into this a little bit more. Now, this theory was a medical system developed by an ancient Greek physician, stating that the health depended on a balanced mixture of the four bodily fluids, or humors as it was also called: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile.
Oh.
Now, an excess of, quote, hot blood led to fevers or mania. In the local physician's view, vigorous movement was the best way to expel the excess heat. Which actually makes no sense for this theory that they were using, because you would treat using the opposite thing. Like, as an example, bloodletting, or cooling, drying remedies. So, in my opinion, they just got that flat out wrong.
Right, yeah, because you wouldn't think, doing something that would literally make you hotter and sweat Unless they were like maybe this theorizing that the sweating would help because sweating itself is cooling.
Perhaps.
And you're draining like your energy and maybe something to do with that. But either way, you would think if it's an excess of hot blood, bloodletting would make the most sense.
Yes. Now, with this diagnosis, the city cleared spaces such as guild halls and markets. They even built wooden stages so that the dancers just could move freely and dance this out. Musicians and professional dancers were hired to accompany them. This did not help containing the crisis. Imagine that. Imagine that. What this did instead was drawn in larger crowds and prolonged the issue.
Yep. Not surprised.
Now, the authorities turned to a more spiritual guidance. The phenomenon was interpreted as a curse sent by Saint Vitus.
Oh.
Saint Vitus was a martyr and one of the 14 holy helpers revered across medieval Europe. Saint Vitus was believed to have the power to both heal epilepsy and to inflict compulsive dancing when angered.
That's so specific.
That's so oddly specific.
Just so happens that this one saint has the curse of dancing.
Yes. Which, to them, explained why the dancers were brought under his curse, you know?
Right, but then why were they brought under his curse?
Don't know.
They were just like, somehow they fucked up, and now they're all cursed to dance.
Now, I'm not exactly sure if the curse was around before this event or after.
Right. Just conveniently, somehow, this one saint suddenly has this curse ability.
Now, some of my sources say this was around before, some said it was after, but...
Right.
Anyway. To counter this, civic leaders organized rituals for repentance. They also restricted public music and dancing, then eventually sent groups of these dancers on pilgrimage to shrines dedicated to Saint Vitus.
Oh.
Yes. Now, once they were there, there would be ceremonies that involved prayer, holy water, and offerings. Now, it is reported that these interventions coincided with the eventual decline of the outbreak in September.
Okay.
Now, this was not the only case of the dancing plague. In June 24th, 1374, so earlier on,
Yeah.
which was also the feast day of St. John the Baptist,
Okay.
in Aachen, Germany, men, women, and children gathered in the streets. They were weeping, screaming, praying, and dancing.
Okay.
And they could not stop dancing until they just collapsed, and this went on for days.
Right.
Now, this also spread to other parts of Germany and Belgium. People believed that this was the work of the devil and tried to use holy water and exorcise them.
As if they're not getting enough exercise, but because they're dancing.
Because they're dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bad pun.
Eh.
Because you, like, exercise as in, like, exorcism, but exercise as in, like...
Physical exercise.
Physical exercise.
But the people of Aachen and those surrounding areas were just having a really bad year in general.
Oh.
They were dealing with the aftermath of a literal plague. They also had total crop failure, massive flooding that just resulted in widespread famine and poverty.
Jeez.
Now, this also happened in Trento, Italy, which is like southern Italy.
Mm-hmm.
This was during the 15th and 17th century, where people just engaged in frantic, repetitive dancing during the summer harvest. And it was believed that the dancing was brought on by the bite of a spider or like a tarantula. Yeah!
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man! Now, the spider in question was actually a wolf spider.
Oh,
Which...
gross. I'm going to tell my spider story.
Tell your spider story.
Oh my god, okay. Well, 2 nights ago, I was sitting on my couch. My dog was laying on me, and I saw movement. And I didn't look over because I thought it was my dog. My boyfriend slowly stands up while looking at it and goes, "Is that a spider?" I look over. This motherfucker was the size of a fucking baseball.
Ew.
My arachnophobia is a lot better now than when I was, like, a little bit younger. But I still have arachnophobia. And I froze. and then it ran off of our ottoman and fell onto the floor, and it made an audible thump. And I was like, oh my God. I was literally shaking. And it was a fucking rabid wolf spider. No, they don't have rabies, just in case you guys jump to that conclusion. That's just their name because of their erratic fucking fast-ass pace that they move at. And it was terrifying. It was a male rabid wolf spider. Fucking huge. I never want to see one of those things again in my life. And now I can't sit on my couch comfortably because I'm like, what if there's more? Like, how did he get in here? Sorry.
That's okay. Back to wolf spiders. Back to on topic of wolf spiders. Now, the bite of the spider is not usually serious and never fatal.
Right, yeah. I looked that up because I was worried. I was like, what the fuck?
Now, the victim's symptoms were usually like headache, vertigo, anxiety, and fatigue. They would leap in the air, weep, and they would have what was called grotesque convulsions. I'm not exactly sure what they meant by that, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe just, like, violent convulsions?
Possibly.
But, you know, like 1500s era.
Now, this was known as tarantism.
Okay.
Now, the remedy was to play music and for the victims to dance as a way to work out the poison that the said spider had injected.
Okay.
You know.
I mean, I guess since it's not like they... If we're going along that theory, say it was some sort of venom, it's not like they have, like, anti-venom back then.
Yeah.
So the best way is just to let it work itself out of the system.
Yeah, to sweat it out.
Mm-hmm.
So a doctor in Naples during 1693 actually allowed himself to be bitten by 2 of these spiders in the presence of witnesses. He didn't develop the dancing illness.
I mean, good for him for taking one for the team, but like...
Couldn't be me.
Dude, have you seen that guy on TikTok who, like, just goes out into the woods and just picks up fucking shit? Like, it's like snakes and spiders. And, like, he literally walked up and, like, picked one up and he's like, this is a water moccasin and blah, 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 blah. Oh. And he's just holding the snake in the air. But my favorite was the first comment was the people at the ER seeing him walk in again. And it was that meme of, like, I think it's like a dude with his hands on his hips. And he's just, like, looking at him.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
Oh, shoot. Now, the victims were people who were in lower classes, but who also lived in poverty.
I'm seeing a trend there.
Yeah. So let's talk about the possibilities.
Okay. When I have heard of this, I have only heard of the one story with Frau. I did not know that more existed. So that is weird. So enlighten me on the because now I'm more confused.
Now you're more confused. Now, the biggest theory that caused the main outbreak in 1518 was a case of mass psychogenic illness, which is also known as mass hysteria.
Right.
Now, this occurs when groups of people develop either physical or behavioral symptoms without an identifiable cause.
I've seen that sometimes take place in, like, schools and stuff. If somebody gets sick, then, like, all the other kids think they're sick, but it can actually cause physical symptoms of, like, throwing up and things like that because it's their brain literally basically convincing their body that they are sick.
Yes. Essentially. That's essentially what it is. Now, this was often in response to intense psychological stress. Now, there are plenty of other cases of mass hysteria. Examples are like the multiple witch trials throughout history. If you want to look at, like, specifically the Salem witch trials, where you could accuse anyone of witchcraft or that they were a witch and that people could be under the influence of witchcraft. But this could be an episode in itself, so I won't go...
cover that at some point.
Yeah, I won't go too deep into that. But there was also the Hammersmith ghost hysteria of 1803. I
feel like... Okay, wait, hang on. We're going to back up for a second.
Yes.
So, the mass hysteria makes sense, but why dancing?
I don't know particularly why dancing. Hold on, let's...
Okay.
because I kind of come back to it, because I'm using this ghost hysteria as like an example of hysteria.
Right, okay, so
And
we'll
then
put
I'm
a pin in why dancing.
Yes, we're going to put a pin in why dancing. And I'm going to talk about the ghost hysteria of 1803, and we're going to come back to the dancing hysteria. So,
okay.
now, this is where multiple ghost sightings were happening in Hammersmith neighborhood of West London. One of the sightings was from a pregnant woman in a graveyard. A tall figure dressed in white suddenly appeared and grabbed her. This woman supposedly fainted and died a few days later from shock.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be pretty shocking.
Would be pretty shocking. Another sighting was from a brewer's servant who said he also had an encounter with the ghost in Hammersmith's churchyard. The ghost had grabbed him by the throat, almost choking him. And when the man tried to grab at the ghost, he felt something soft and the ghost vanished.
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let you continue.
All right.
I won't form my opinions yet.
Now, it was believed that the ghost was the spirit of a man who had killed himself a year earlier.
Oh.
Yes. And he was buried in the churchyard at Hammersmith. Now, popular belief at the time was that suicides should not be buried in sacred grounds.
Oh.
Now, that was because the soul of a suicide victim who was buried in sacred ground would not be able to find eternal rest. Why? I don't know.
Okay. I thought that was going to go a different route.
No. Yeah.
But it did not.
It did not. And that they would also wander the earth because they couldn't find eternal rest.
Right.
And it just continued to escalate, like the ghost jumped out of a wagon and caused horses to bolt. While some people were too scared to go out at night, a group of armed men started patrolling the town at night.
What are you gonna do to a ghost?
What are you gonna do?
Like, you gonna shoot him?
I guess so.
He's already dead. He's not even there. Like,
I guess so. Their plans was to shoot at the ghost. And on January 3rd, 1804, 29-year-old tariff officer named Francis Smith fired his gun and killed the ghost.
Oh.
Quote-unquote ghost. Who was actually Thomas Millwood, a local bricklayer who was on his way home from work in his work uniform.
Oh my god.
Yes. Which happened to be, like, all white.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Now, Francis Smith would be charged with willful murder and at first would be convicted of manslaughter, but the judge would return it and he told the jury either convict him or acquit him. Like, he clearly shot at somebody.
Right.
You know, whether he thought it was a ghost or not.
Right.
So they did convict him, and at first he would be sentenced to hang, but then it would change to 1 year hard labor for the crime. And the actual ghost itself was a hoax, because it was done by the shoemaker to teach his apprentice a lesson. Yes!
Wait, so the guy who got shot?
No, this was a whole other incident. So the shoemaker dressed as a ghost and scared his apprentice because his apprentice was scaring children with tales of ghost stories. So he did it to teach him, like, as a lesson.
Oh my god.
And this just escalated from there.
Oh my god. So that guy got another guy killed because he wanted to scare his apprentice.
To teach him a lesson.
Yeah. I mean, I know that he didn't think that would happen.
No,
but, like,
but
what the fuck?
Hence my point that this was
That's the biggest domino effect I think I've ever fucking heard of, dude.
The biggest, like, I thought this was perfect as an example for mass hysteria, because that's what this was.
Yeah.
It started as something small and escalated to someone being murdered in the streets.
Right. And that even, like, goes back to, like, the witch trials,
Even
too.
the witch trials as well.
That's, like, the same pattern, basically.
Yes. Which I have noted, it's just sad that it got to that point.
Right.
But with this in mind, let's go back to the dancing plague of 1518.
Okay.
So if you look at, like, the state the city was in, like I mentioned, with hunger, like, other diseases spreading, and just religious views back then, I just feel like those are all factors that would make sense that it's mass hysteria. I think one person just started doing it, for whatever reason she started dancing, and then everyone just involuntarily just started joining into it.
Right.
And then, if you look at it, it stopped once people were taken out of the environment to shrines to perform ceremonies.
Yeah.
So,
there's, like, a break.
yes.
Yeah. I still think it's weird, though, that mass hysteria of dancing has happened 3 different times. Like, that's just weirdly specific.
Yeah.
Like, I understand mass hysteria. And it definitely, I mean, I'm not going to stand on my soapbox and be like, that was 100% what it was. Like, it definitely, I would pretty certainly could say that it was mass hysteria, if we're just looking at it. It's just weird that it's dancing.
That it's specifically like these involuntary movements of dancing, like
Right.
spasms.
And that it's happened 3 times. Even if it was like once, it'd be like weird fluke. But like 3 different times, it's like, damn, okay.
But there's also the common factor of just people being under such a stress.
Right, no, I would still say all of them are mass hysteria.
Mhm.
It's just weird that the outcome of that mass hysteria was dancing specifically.
True.
That's just strange.
True. Now, the second theory was ergot poisoning. Ergot is a hallucinogenic fungus that grows on damp rye, and it has been linked to convulsions and delusions.
Okay.
However, it might be kind of impossible in my opinion, because what that does is it restricts blood flow to the extremities. And in extreme cases, it causes gangrene.
Right, and I was gonna say, like, if it's convulsions, they wouldn't be, like, dancing. They would be, like, on the ground convulsing.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yes. Yes.
Now, the one before that said, like, grotesque convulsions?
The one in Italy. Maybe the one in Italy.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. And, with having gangrene, this would make people too weak to dance for days.
Right, and, like, especially during that time, like, that's fatal.
Fatal. Exactly. So that makes that impossible in my opinion. But you could also look at the geographic and the spread of the outbreaks. It just doesn't fit the pattern. Like, the dancing plague of 1518 would have mostly been a dry season, and it would just be most likely that wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have been damp rye.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what are your thoughts? I personally think it was mass hysteria.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I didn't know that it happened more than once. I knew about the initial one in 1518.
Yeah, I knew about that one. I've heard it, I think, covered 2 different times, maybe. I didn't know that there was more. The one in Italy, I would say could be the ergot poisoning, maybe. But also, like, descriptions aren't always that great.
Mhm.
So it could have been just convulsing. It could have been dancing. I would say that one could be, it could even be a mix of both. Like, it could have been that one person had the poisoning and then it escalated into people dancing or something like that from mass hysteria. I don't know.
Perhaps.
The other 2, though, where it was dancing, would, I would say, is way more likely just to be mass hysteria.
Hysteria.
Yeah. I just still am curious, one, as to why the first person started dancing.
Why did she specifically start dancing?
Right.
Who knows? We don't know.
Like, maybe it could just be a psychological break. It could also be something with, like, dancing being equated to, like, joy and happiness, and then because of the hard times that they were going through, when the, like, break happened, that was the outcome.
Perhaps.
It's still weird that it happened twice. It's weird that it happened twice. Like, if I had a nickel for every time dancing hysteria happened, I'd have 2 nickels.
3 nickels.
Well, yeah, but if we play the first one by, like, a maybe.
Oh, true. 2 nickels then.
Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
twice.
That's the saying. Yeah. Yeah, it's just weird. It's a weird outcome to happen. Like, yes, I think it's mass hysteria, but I'm more intrigued as to why the first person started dancing and why dancing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird.
And that's what I have for you for the dancing hysteria. It's
Damn.
a shorty. It's a shorty. But
It's a shorty. And if you guys want any bonus content, you can go ahead and check out our Patreon. We post our ad-free episodes there, as well as bonus content and pictures from our cases. If you have any stories, you can send them to us at investigatingwithus@gmail.com. If you would like, you could share this with your mother, your friends, whatever. Spread the word about the podcast. That'd be super cool. And in the meantime, thank you so much for listening, and we hope you keep investigating. Bye!
Bye!